I'm not sure that there's real conclusions, but it's nice to have ended on a little bit of an uptick there. Nice to have the guys playing together. Obviously, Jeremy coming back and getting some rhythm, playing well together with Brooke and so forth, and the rest of the guys. Well, Brooke, in I think both of our minds, is one of the elite centers in the league. There's no question there. And you look at the way his game has translated, not only in Kenny's system, but what he's done in the offseason, how he's worked hard on the performance aspect of his body and so forth, and also changing his game and adapting a little bit. Does he fit with Kenny's system? I think we've seen it does. It does work. So. Does it change the constitution of the team with those two playing together? It's obviously nice to see them playing well together, and we'd have loved, and I'm speaking for both of us here, but we would have loved to have them healthy the whole year playing together, as we've seen Jeremy and Brooke make other people better. When you've got your best players on the court, it certainly helps rise the level of everybody else. Everybody else rises up there.
Well, the feedback, I live in Brooklyn, so I'm here every day, so I get a lot of feedback from the fans, and so very positive. I think people realize, the culture that we're trying to establish. It's the beginning, but we're making strides, but we know we have a long way to go. So we also understand that. We're very realistic. I think our young players have made strides. I think our older players have made strides, including Brooke, and maybe adapting his game a little bit to the style of play we wanted to play. So I think it's our late season success helped also create more of a positive vibe. So a lot of good things going into this off season.
Well, I think you look at the guys as they travel together. They're little things. They're socializing together. They eat together. The conversations that are had, around the water cooler, so to speak. These guys genuinely like each other. They're competitive. They push each other through practices. I love watching the bench during games and noticing how those guys are cheering on their teammates, and it's real. They're holding each other accountable. That's pretty rare to find that guys will do that. But I think they honestly like socializing with each other. I mean, the coaching staff has done a tremendous job with them day in and day out, whether it's at practices, whether it's a shoot around, really having those individual relationships, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it was obviously losses weren't easy, but I did understand. I think we understood what we were getting into, and I know in the long run that the adversity we had to face, it's almost like, you deserve to face that. Like this is what it is, and I think it made me a better coach. I think it made our players better players just to go through that struggle. So I kind of like the process and looking back on it, having to fight through some tough times. I think that's going to make us better in the long run. But I know it's one foot in front of the other, and I know it's a day-to-day thing, and every day counts this off season. Today counts. Today is just as important as our last game of the season or middle of the season. They all count, and that's the process driven situation we're in, and I love it. I love the daily grind of it, and that's how we're going to keep those blinders on and keep after it.
Where we stand, I think it would be silly for us to say we're only going to go after one particular player or one particular position. We know that none of us are happy, and that includes our players, winning 20 games. We know we've got to build on this. We've got to continue to build, continue to get the right caliber players to fit into this group, and be strategic along the way. It doesn't mean we're going to go and I know you guys are going to ask me about restricted free agents again and everybody else. It doesn't mean we're not going to go that route. we're continuing to evaluate it, and we'll see where we end up, whether it's that route, whether it's through the Europeans, through the draft. We'll just determine, as it comes. I think we've got to really evaluate the roster, and if you go after one of the top tier guys, you obviously would hope to get him. You hope to get all your targets that you go for, but does that really make you better? Does it get you to 30 wins, 35 wins? The objective here is for us to be in the playoffs. When that comes, we'll have to wait and see, but you don't want to go and sign free agents, and next thing you know, your payroll's capped out and so forth, and you're a 25-win team. So we're going to have to build this, as I've said before, strategically, have patience with it, but we'll see. We'll certainly be playing in both, restricted free agency, unrestricted, you name it. We'll look at everything and everything that suits the current roster and the rosters for like 2018, 2019, and so forth. So we've got to have a big picture view on this, looking down the road. The way I see Kenny throughout the year, the things that have really stood out to me was, as you mentioned before, the losses are tough, and he's the one that's had to stand up in front of the media every day and ask the hard questions. He's had to face them. So I think it's been a learning curve for him, being thrown out into the fire. He's done a terrific job with it. But the things that people don't see is every day in practice, it's behind closed doors, when you walk out into the practice court, the guys are encouraged to be here. They love being here. The emotions, you would never have thought at that point they'd won 9 games or 14 games or 15 games. He had guys playing hard, enjoying what they were doing. The staff did a terrific job of really keeping the camaraderie up and so forth. And that's not easy to do, especially when you're coaching them hard too. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me about not only Kenny but the rest of his staff is they're able to love players and put their arm around them and support them, but at the same time hold them accountable. And that's something we're going to do. And I've obviously seen it done by Pop and his staff in the past, and Kenny's seen the same with Coach Bud in Atlanta. So he's brought that with him, and I think he did a terrific job with that. Well, I like having 2 picks, that's for sure. So I think it just gives us another swing at it. I can't tell you if we'll draft 2 guys in the first round. I can't tell you if we won. I can't tell you if one's going to be a stash. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But again, it gives us some more opportunities here. We've got a couple months now to really dig into it with the coaches. The front office has already been doing this, but now it's time to evaluate these players, and get the coaches' mindset on them. So again, we'll stay creative and stay as strategic as we can.
Quite honestly, not a lot of experience, head coaching experience, and I just learned, learned along the way, and I think I got better. I felt, by the end of the season, I think you guys, Greg and Brian, how do you feel? I said I'm starting to feel like a head coach. That being said, I think I throw myself in the players category, where I know I got a lot of improvement in a lot of areas I need to improve in, and I'm looking forward to the off season to really analyze where I can get better. I have a pretty good idea, but it's going to be a fun off season, trying to tweak some things, maybe tweak some things that we can do better strategically, and player development, every aspect of coaching, communication. So I know this is going to be a process to become a top level coach in this league. It's going to take time, and which kind of fits where we're going. So looking forward to it.